How you doing, guys? It's Shane for theguitarmentor.com, and we're going to have a look at parts of the guitar today. So when we're talking about particular things that I need you to know, we're all on the same page. All right, so we know a little bit more about the language of the guitar. So obviously this is an acoustic guitar, and we'll first talk about some of the parts of the acoustic guitar first, and then we'll move on to the electric, because there are a few more parts on the electric. So simply, this is the guitar body, okay, plain and simple. Now this thing here is what we call the neck of the guitar, okay, and up here further we have got the headstock, or you can just call it the head. So you've got the head, the neck and the body, pretty much like yourself, right? Now this is where it starts to differ. A part of the neck, we've got all these little metal bits, and they're called frets, or the fret wires. But when we talk about fretting the guitar, when we put our fingers on the frets, we're talking about in between the steel wires. Alright, so that will be your first fret, that will be your second fret, that'll be your third fret, and so forth, and all the way up. So again, these are the fret wires, and these are what we will term as frets. So when I tell you to fret the third fret, for instance, that will be there, not on the wire, but in between, as close to the wire as possible, but in between. Again, we'll move up to the head here, and these are what you call your tuning pegs, and they are what determines how sharp or flat your strings are going to be. Okay, so as you turn it up, it'll tighten the strings, and as you turn it down, it'll loosen the strings. And that should be in tune now. Alright? Alright, so from there, these are obviously the strings. Obviously the strings here. And where the strings sit at this side is what we call the bridge, or some of them even call it a saddle. And here the strings actually are held in by these pegs, which is going to be different from an electric guitar, but that's basically the acoustic guitar parts. The rest of it, this of course, as I probably mentioned before, does have a pickup in here, and your EQs here, bass and treble, volume, and a built-in tuner as well. So that's basically it, and we'll move on to the electric guitar now. As you can see, like the acoustic, there's going to be some things that are similar. It's obviously got a body, it's got a neck, you've got your fret wires as you did the acoustic, and it's going to have the headstock. Even though it's a different shape and things like that, doesn't make any difference. It's also got your tuning pegs here, and steel strings, and also got the bridge here. So and again, some people call that a saddle. Now, what you will notice with the electric though is you've got these three things here. Sometimes there's only two, sometimes one. But what these are pickups, and what that basically does is exactly that. It picks up the sound of the strings when you play the strings, and when you've got your lead plugged in here and into an amp, the pickups will pick up the signal, the vibration, and send it out via the cable into the amp, and then amplify the sound basically. That's a very basic account of what it does, but that is what it does. You've also got, on this particular guitar, you've got a volume knob and two tone controls as well. So one volume will control all three of those pickups, and then the two tone controls which will mix between these. You've also got what you call a selection switch here, and when it's all the way to the back here, that'll select that pickup. When you flick it the next one, it'll select these two pickups. So flick it to the middle, will be the middle pickup. The next one will be these two pickups, and then over here, which is the neck position. So so that's basically it. Also, when we flick it over on this side, we'll see another cover here. Now what happens is, this is where you put your strings through. When you're stringing your guitar up, they'll come through here, through the saddles, and into the headstock, or the tuning pegs up here. So so that's that. Also on the other side, which you can't see because the cover's on here, but there's a series of springs in the back here, and that's basically used for this with a tremolo arm, which when you pull it down, it loosens these strings off. I'll show you something similar to that on the next guitar. Okay, this other guitar, this is the Ibanez, and how this differs from the Strat that we just saw. Well, there's two main differences, I guess. One is the pickups. You'll notice that the pickups on the Strat were similar to this middle pickup here, just a single pickup. Now these other two, they're what we call humbuckers, and it's basically two single coil pickups together. Why is that important? Well, in heavier style music, that's pretty much a must. It's something that you'll notice a lot of bands that play heavy metal have got that, or even rock have got that. They're using quite a lot of distortion, and usually they don't want feedback, and this helps. It also keeps down a lot of noise, and like the name suggests, humbucker, it was originally designed to do just that and take the hum out of the guitar. The other difference is this intricate system here, where the saddle is, or the bridge saddle is, and this side here. This is what you call the nut, and this series is actually called locking nuts. And this is a floating bridge. Not sure if you can see that, but that goes up and down. And basically what it was designed to do was, with the old Strats and other guitars that didn't have this particular system, after using the whammy bar, which is this, after using that for a little while, they noticed their strings would keep going out of tune. Now to fix that up, what they designed was this locking nut at one side and the locking strings at the other side. And so what that does in theory is, when you depress your strings or pull it up the other way, it is meant to keep the strings in tune. And for the most part, that is exactly what it does. It does a very good job. Look, some people love them, some people hate them, because they are a little bit of a bugger when you break a string. It's not as easy to change strings on those ones, but I've never really had a problem with them. And if you're using vibrato with through the bridge, well, it's probably something you want to consider, that type of guitar with a lockdown system. But that's completely up to you. So that's basically it. The three guitars, the acoustic, the Stratocaster, and the Ibanez here, all basically the same thing. They've got a body, a neck, a head, and strings. From there they branch out. Some of them have got volume controls, pickups, and so forth, lockdown systems, but the whole basis of it is they've got those components which are related. So hopefully that demystifies some of the parts of the guitar for you, and it makes it a little bit more clearer.